here's my 3 goals. Here's our 3 goals, okay? So take a few minutes and come up with 3 goals, maybe involving leprechauns or other unicorns or, yeah. Okay, but talk amongst yourselves. Okay, who needs more time? Okay, I need everybody's attention here. Okay, your 3 goals.
I want hair like Andrew.
Hair like Andrew.
He wants to own a Bugatti.
Own a Bugatti.
A squirrel suit off Everest.
Squirrel suit off of Everest. Okay, these are good. No unicorns yet. Go ahead.
Backflipping into a basketball hoop while playing banjo. Becoming young again. It was
Okay. Okay, can you speak up?
His was owning a house on every planet in the solar system.
On every planet in the solar system. Okay. Next.
Can I say all the ones that we do, please? Or just...
3 that just pick 3.
Alright, build a monster truck, find a unicorn, stack a mouse on top of a cat on top of a dog.
Stack a mouse on top of a cat on top of a dog. Okay. Wow, who came up with the mouse one? Your brain, your mind is a terrible thing. Period. Okay, yes.
Okay, abolish private property using giraffe nunchucks. Become a eucalyptus tree. Ride an eagle with a donkey saddle.
Ride an eagle with a donkey saddle. Okay.
Lick the sun. Grow gills and breathe underwater. And slide down a rainbow.
Okay.
We have to eat at every Taco Bell in the whole world. That's awesome. To become a dictator of North Korea. To convince every single man to grow his hair like this.
Like Ethan? Oh, okay. Okay, and last table. Okay, speak up so everybody can hear.
Soccer player.
What kind? You just play soccer? My son did that when he was 7. Okay, keep going. Soccer player, that's not very... Oh, professional soccer player. Like you're getting paid for it? Okay, keep going.
See the end of a rainbow.
Heck yeah.
And go to space.
Go to space. Okay, so we're going to talk about what SMART goals are, but I want you, as we're going through these, I want you to think, what's the difference between a goal and a wish or a desire? Okay, because some of these are just wishes. Some of these are just desires. Some of them could actually be turned into goals. Some of them can't. Okay, the most obvious one to me is that Dwayne will never be young again. Okay, so... Yes, it is a desire. It is definitely a desire. It's definitely a wish. Okay, so... In general, how do we set goals? And this is not the SMART part. For those of you who like to write stuff in, I've given you a few more write-in things here. But how to set goals. First, you want to, what do you think the D stands for? Nope, it's the number of blanks is the number of letters left in the word. Desire is good, but nope. What's that? Define. So write it down if you're a writer. Define the goal. Fill in the blank. Leave nothing blank. You'll never be able to feel whole again if you leave these blank. Okay, define the goal. Okay, what blank the steps needed to achieve it. Outline. Good. Outline the steps needed to achieve it. Okay, so I think you guys, some of your goals are well enough defined. None of them were outlined very well yet. Maybe you've thought of this. Maybe you thought about how to stack a mouse on top of a platypus on top of a lemur, whatever that was. Okay, but you need to outline the steps needed to achieve this goal. Okay, what number 3? Consider possible blanks. I just gave you a hint. Blanks, it's plural, and ways of dealing with them. It could be blanks, but it's not. It's close to blanks. Blocks. Yeah. Obstacles. Blocks. Blocks are shorter than obstacles, so we'll go with blocks. Consider possible blocks and ways of dealing with them. So let's pick a goal. What was a goal you remember hearing? It was interesting. What's that? Lick the sun. Okay. So define the goal. I think that's fairly well defined unless you're being metaphorical. If you mean like use your physical tongue to lick the sun, you'd have to define the sun. What does that mean? It's not like a Lego that you can, I mean, there's... So where, I guess, you'd have to define that, right? Okay. Let's see. Outline the steps to achieve it. What would that look like? Okay, I need you guys to start raising your hands. Okay, Aiden.
Have NASA invent you a special spacesuit with.
Okay, have NASA invent you a special spacesuit. But now we've got. Okay, this is complicated because now we got to have a sub goal. Like, how do we get NASA? How do we get NASA to do anything? How do you get NASA, right? Okay, so you'd have to think through. Hold on, guys. You'd have to think through, outline the steps, and something as simple, you believe it or not, something as simple as licking the sun becomes very complicated. Okay, consider possible blocks. What's one of the blocks to licking the sun? Your tongue's hot. Exactly. Oh, the sun is hot. Yeah. Okay, so at this point, you may be thinking, I don't know if I want to lick the sun. Okay, maybe that block. In fact, does anybody happen to know, without asking Google, how hot is the sun? Very hot. Yeah, technically speaking, it's actually precisely very hot. Okay. Okay, and then number 4 here, if you fill in the blanks, is set what? Deadline. Thank you, Nathan. Set deadlines. Okay, so for something as simple as licking the sun, do you think you're going to need a little bit of time or a lot of time? A lot of time. Okay. And do you think you're going to need one deadline, or are you going to need sub-deadlines for these things? Like, you're going to have a deadline for NASA. Like, NASA, you need to get me that by... Yeah. And then yeah. Okay. So flip over the page, and this is where we're going to get smart. So those are some kind of overall... In order to set goals, you need to define it, outline the steps, consider obstacles or blocks, and then set some deadlines. But we're going to make it into a nice acronym. And if you don't remember anything, try to remember this SMART acronym. Believe it or not, every letter stands for another word. Yes. Okay. So, as we go through this, I want you to think about some of those goals, and now I'm using quotes. Some of those goals that, are they wishes or goals? Okay. Based on the criteria here, okay, so if you want it to be a goal, it needs to have these 5 attributes in order to be, number 1, a goal, or number 2, a really good, potentially achievable goal. Okay, so, S, what do you think that a SMART goal needs to be what? S? Nope, not smart. Not set, not significant, definitely not safe. Come on. Look, there are some good goals that are not safe, like licking the sun. Okay. Raise your hands. Yeah, specific. Write down specific, and if you don't know how, that's another goal you should set. Okay, so think about your goals that you gave me a little bit earlier. Give me one, raise your hand and give me one that it's just not specific. Okay, you need to raise your hand. That's a goal. Goal to set today is raise your hand. Yes.
Making Dr. Dollars.
Okay, then that's not going to be helpful. Another goal. Okay, yes.
Convincing all the men to grow their hair out like them.
Is that specific or not? That's big. I think it's fairly specific. Yeah. What's that? Okay, being a good person. That is not a specific goal. Why not? Yeah, what is good? That's too broad, right? That's too broad. Too broad to be a good goal. Okay. What's another one that may not be specific enough? Build a car. Why is that not specific enough? Okay, this is Tony's turn to shine. What is that, Tony? What kind of car are you going to build? That's right. So, okay, building a car might be a good desire, but it's not really a goal until you make it specific enough that you can actually achieve it, right? Okay.
Do you have to build every single piece? Or do you just build it
parts.
That's right. Do you need to learn how to do metallurgy and smelt metal? You smelt metal, right? Yeah, smelting metal. Yeah.
A way to turn that to a specific goal would be, I want to build a 1967 Chevelle SS from a kit that you buy from, the Fab Four.
Okay, Dylan, did you hear that? Yeah, good. That was really good. Say that again. So we went from build a car to
build a 1967 Chevelle SS from a kit.
That's right. Would you say that's specific? Okay, good. So let's move on. What's 2? M. A smart goal should be not manageable, not mental. Measurable. This is where a lot of people kind of break down, and their goals are either really not goals, they're just wishes, or they're just not very good goals. What begins to make a goal measurable? Give me an unmeasurable goal that you guys gave me earlier. Yeah. Abolish private property. Yeah, that's kind of hard to measure. What was that?
By use of giraffe nunchucks. Yeah.
What?
By use of giraffe nunchucks.
Oh, by use of giraffe nunchucks. Yeah. Mr. Oldavas, Jacob, where are you? Your mother is on the phone. Here, talk to her. Okay. So how would we take? I think this is a good goal we can begin to work on. The Chevelle. That's right, Chevelle. A 67 Chevelle. We're going to build one. How do we begin to make that measurable?
Find the kit.
Okay, you find the kit. Okay, what else makes it measure? You got to. Yeah, go ahead.
By deciding when it is complete, like what makes it complete.
Okay, yeah. So knowing when it's actually going to be done. Yeah. Yeah, and so some of the sub goals or sub components would be you've got to know how much it's going to cost. Yeah?
When it wins the Pebble Beach Open.
What's that?
It's complete when it wins the Pebble Beach Open.
It's complete when it wins. Well, that's a different goal, isn't it? You can build one, and then it's got to be super cool. Okay, so you can know if a goal has been accomplished or that you are actually making progress, right? So maybe what you do is you begin to measure, would you start with the frame?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to build the frame first. And, you figure out, what constitutes the frame, and then you can measure that. You know if you've completed it. Okay, what's next? What would probably be next in building a car? The body? Probably.
Electrical and wiring, piping.
Okay, electrical and piping. This is a plumber. It's like, you need a toilet in this thing, obviously. Yeah, that would be another goal. Okay, so you want to be able to know if it's been accomplished and if you're making progress. And so finding ways to measure that helps. It's also great because if you have one goal, which is just build it, and it's done, you don't get the satisfaction of being able to check off boxes. Like, I'm making progress. I finished the frame. There was nothing here except for a box full of parts, and now I got a frame. Right? So that's very satisfying. So being measurable helps you to do that. Okay, what is A? Number 3. Achievable. Okay, so I think most of your really, really ridiculous goals probably fall down on A. Because we could probably measure licking the sun, maybe, but yeah. Or what's another one? What's another one we haven't mentioned again? Becoming a unicorn. I mean, I don't want to be a killjoy. Let's think here for a second. Is that possible? I guess it depends on what you mean by a unicorn. But if you mean an actual, magical, 4-legged, unicorned creature, I think you guys got to admit that it's probably not achievable or attainable. What's that?
Get that wish behind mine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's more realistic than Dwayne getting younger. Okay, yeah. So Dwayne may. So here we go. What makes something a wish or a goal? Like Dwayne desires to be younger because there are parts of being younger that are just great. You've got greater strength. You've got so much ahead of you in life. It's really it can be scary at times, but it's also fun to think about, like, I've basically got the world ahead of me. And then you get to our age, or his age, and it's like things have narrowed down, and you look at your body and you're like, wow, yeah, all right. So we can wish, but if it's not achievable or attainable, it's just a wish. You should never call it a goal. Okay. So, what's S? Specific. S, specific. What's M? What's A? Achievable. What's R?
Realistic.
No, that's more like achievable.
Right?
What's that?
Right?
Right? That should probably be in here as Christians, but we'll assume that it's a good goal, meaning that it's a God-glorifying, appropriate goal. But no, so not right, not reasonable. Wait, hold on. No, not reasonable. Not resourceful. These are all wonderful words. You guys are like little dictionaries. Yeah.
Righteous.
No. Oh, that's wonderful. We should add something in here, but no, not right. So that's more along Ethan's. Okay, so how about this? Have goals ever been imposed upon you? Have goals ever been imposed upon you before? Like, give me an example of a goal that was imposed upon you. Yeah, homework. Okay, and my guess is that at least once you probably didn't do it. Okay, more than once. Why? Why didn't you do it? But, no, because if you really wanted to do it, wouldn't you have reprioritized stuff and gotten it done? No, definitely. If you really wanted it, you would have gotten it done. So this is number 4 is one of the most important. Because you can get all the other stuff, and if you don't have number 4, it's still, you guys like, what is this R? If you don't have R down, all the other stuff can be in place, and it's just never going to happen. Because you're not going to care. Do you agree, if you just don't care about the goal, it's not going to get done? Okay. So the R word, did you have it? No, but that's good. Nope, relevant. Relevant, meaning it needs to be relevant to you. It needs to be, you could say, it could be a SMATE goal. It could be important to you. But smart's better. So we'll say relevant. It needs to be relevant. You need to care about it or it's not going to get done. Now, care is interesting, though, because you may not love, what's a kind of homework that you don't particularly enjoy? Raise your hand. I saw hands. Math. Be more specific. What kind of math? Pre-algebra. Okay. Pre-algebra itself, listen up. Pre-algebra itself may not be terribly inspiring to you. You're like, if I had my choice of what I'm going to spend my time doing, it's not going to be studying for pre-algebra. But what could make that, since pre-algebra itself isn't more important to you, isn't super important to you, what could make doing that work anyway more important enough to do it? Raise your hand. Yes, Aaron?
The outcome in the end to allow it to happen.
Okay, so looking past the actual thing and going, okay, this is what it's going to help me accomplish. So a goal that's a little bit greater than that is important to you. What else?
Being able to move on to other goals.
Okay, yeah, so getting done with it so you can move on to some other things like geometry. Okay. Proofs. Okay, what else could make it, if you don't love pre-algebra itself, but you could say, I'm going to really do it, it suddenly does become important to you in another way because you see past it to what it's going to help you accomplish. You get to move on to other things that are more interesting to you, or... Okay, so you're looking past the actual algebra, right? You're looking to the grade. You like grades. Some of you guys love getting good grades. You will do whatever you're asked because you're like, I want to get the A. Doesn't really matter what it is. That wasn't me. Yeah.
God's put pre-algebra in your life, so glorifying Him and doing it with a cheerful attitude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really, say that again. That's really important because this is gonna, if you guys can begin to capture this, then you can make almost any R, any goal an R for you. What was that?
Pre-algebra is placed in your life because of God, and so you should be doing it with a cheerful attitude, knowing that He has that at stake for you.
Yeah, we don't just do things because it's really fun and we just love it. We do some of the things we do because we're not our own. What does it mean to be a slave according to, raise your hand if you remember the definition. Okay, don't talk to me, talk to everybody.
Having no rights of your own.
Having no right to your own and... Seth? Yeah, what was that? Yeah, you're owned by somebody. There was like 2 parts to that, I think.
No ownership or rights of your own.
Yeah, having no ownership or rights of your own. So you're asked to do something, and you do it because your life isn't about you getting everything you want in that moment, right? This is really hard. This is very difficult to actually do, but it's what we're called to do. And it's possible. God gives us the ability to do it. Part of growing up and maturing, which Dwayne is still doing, believe it or not, is learning how to do this. So I'm not suggesting you go home and you're going to do this great because we talked to you about it. But it's something to be pursuing. Okay, so yeah, if you can answer this question, you're like, okay, God has asked me through my parents or through my boss or through my teacher, you need to do this. You need to do this homework. I don't want to do the pre-algebra homework. I don't love pre-algebra. But I love God. He's asked me to do it, so I'm going to do it for him. That's the thing. You look past the pre-algebra to the thing that is important to you. And so you do the pre-algebra because of that thing. Does that make sense? Okay, so it has to be relevant. But you can look past the thing to something that is more relevant to you. Okay, and then the last thing is, and it's a hyphen there. Okay, time... Wait, you guys aren't raising your hand. Nope, not time management. Time bound. Time bound. You're binding it to time. Okay, so I'm going to throw my dear maternal parent under the bus here for a moment. She has a room. It's called the Room of Doom. Does she call it that?
It's actually way better than it used to be.
Okay, well that's good. Yeah, my daughter helped her apparently. It's called the Room of Doom because it's like where all of her stuff goes that she is like, it's just not organized and it's just chock full of stuff. Apparently it's a little bit better, but she's always, ever since I've known her, she's talked about wanting it to be organized. And one of the things that I've seen that she's lacked the ability to do is to make that wish into a goal by making it time-bound. Okay, I'm going to set a goal in time. Because what happens if you set a goal and you don't actually make it time-bound? What can happen? Raise your hand, please. Go for a will.
Just say, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, so you can, there's a P word that should be down here somewhere. What's that called? Procrastination. Yeah. Josh is like, ooh, I know that one. Yeah, procrastination. I'm like, A+ in procrastination. If that were a class, you'd be a 4.0 student. Okay, so yeah, you can procrastinate. The goal ultimately just kind of gets pushed off forever. For whatever reason. Maybe you go too slowly. Like you're diligent about it, but you're just not moving fast enough, and so you're not making priorities about how you're going to use your time. And so it has to be time bound. If you don't have time markers associated with this goal, it's not a goal. It's just a wish. You got to have it be time bound. So we're going to go backwards through this. So what does the T stand for? What does the R stand for? A. M. S. Okay, so let's go back to our table discussion, and I want you guys to talk about some goals that are actually not unicorn-oriented, but actually relevant to you guys right now. Things that are actually important. Maybe it's a long-term goal, or maybe it's just something that's more short-term. It doesn't matter. And I want you guys to determine one that you are going to tell me about. Okay, so take like 2 or 3 minutes and do that. Really quickly, because I don't want to belabor this. What's your goal? Okay, know who's going to speak and what they're going to say.
Time to the Word, 30 minutes a day, every day.
Oh my goodness! So you've already worked on making it smart. Okay, so what do you want? Just give me what you want.
To spend 30 minutes, or to spend time in the Word.
Okay, to spend time in the Word.
For Ian to become a junior counselor for 3 years in a row.
I don't know if that's attainable, but that'd be awesome. Okay.
For him to be the fastest walk 17 drawer 19 in the world.
I don't know what that is, but okay. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, just be in the Word more.
Be in the Word more? Okay. This table.
To get my permit in some kind of...
Okay, to get your permit. Good. I can't hear you.
Choose what college would you go to.
Oh, choose what college you're going to go to, okay?
Start off this new year reading the Word.
Okay, so we got 3 of those. That's good. Okay, so now I want you guys to write it down really specifically, using not exhaustively, but make it specific. I think most of you guys are getting close to that. Make it measurable, achievable. I think all of those were relevant, and make it time-bound, and then we're going to quickly go over these together, and then we'll be done. From each table, I'll just give you an example. Nathan just asked me if I have any goals, and one of them, my boss asked me for some goals for this next year, and so one of them was I wanted to read more books. And so, specific, I want to read 2 books a month. Okay, it doesn't matter what genre. I could make it more specific if I cared, but I didn't care what genre. Okay, so it could be any genre, and it doesn't matter how big or small the books are. I just want to read 2 books a month. So it's specific enough. And is it measurable? Yeah, I know when I'm done with a book. When you get to the end and you've read the words. Okay. What's that? Yeah, and you count to 2, which I can do on most days. Okay. Is it attainable? Yeah, I believe that I can do that. Not everybody can do that. Some people probably should read more than that. But 2, given my life, would be good. Is it relevant? Yeah. There's so much information, good wisdom and just approaches to viewing the world that other people have put down in writing, and I think that that's actually beneficial to me, so I think it's relevant. That's important to me. And then time-bound, yeah, because it's 2 books in what amount of time?
1 month.
1 month. So how many a year? 24. You guys we got engineers all over the place here. Okay, so that's what I want you to do, just really briefly. We'll start on this side this time. Okay, and I need you guys to have a spokesman, so point and come up with a spokesman so we're not wondering who's going to talk. Who's ready? I want 1 goal for your table, probably that goal that you told me, and I want you to be able to make it smart. Is anybody ready to do that? Okay, I'll give you a couple more minutes to finish that because I was not clear enough. Okay, I think we're good enough. Okay, so we'll start at this table here. Okay, speak nice and loudly. Okay, what's the goal? Ultimate goal, you want to pass the MCAT with flying colors, right? Okay, and so how are you going to do that? Whew. Yeah, okay. And I'm assuming that it's measurable. Is that attainable? For you, he's like... Obviously, it's relevant because you want to go to med school potentially, okay? And it's time bound, so yeah, that's good. That's good. You know if you've succeeded or failed. By the way, before I forget, one thing about goals is, well, I'll show you a book that I've read recently. It's called Humility by Andrew Murray. Has anybody ever read this? Humility by Andrew Murray. One of the things I love about it, look at this. You see this? See how thin it is? Very attainable. Yeah. It's actually, no pictures, but you can see all the yellow there. That means that this is a good book because it's not long, but it's really, really, really rich. So just a book recommendation there. Okay, you guys.
So Jacob said he wants to go to Harvard Law School.
Go ahead and talk so everybody over there can hear you too. He wants to go to Harvard Law School.
And so specifically he wants to study law, he wants to get his bachelor's, so he's going to know when it's basically pretty measurable, because once he gets his degree, then he'll be done. Figuring out how achievable that might be based on his grades now and what he needs to have in that, so
okay.
It's relevant.
Okay, yeah. And so some of these can change, right? That's a long-term goal. Goals sometimes need to change. And sometimes your goals are too high. You just can't achieve them. That's no fun because nobody likes to continue to miss goals. You set them too low. I want to breathe. I guess there are certain situations where that's a really good goal. But right here in this room, not a very interesting goal. So finding that balance of where that goal, where it's something you strive for, but it's still attainable, is sometimes a process. You learn. Sometimes it's become a goal that seemed relevant at one point is no longer relevant. I'm not interested in law. I'm not interested in Harvard, what have you. So, okay, but that's good. Okay, you guys.
I said spend my time more effectively by
either practicing music for 20 minutes a day and or volunteering for the city council.
Okay. Good. Very good. Okay, you guys.
So reading, so devotional, so read the Bible, read for 30 minutes a day, measurable by marking down in devotion, so having a chart, and starting December 2020.
Okay, I love everything about that. I would suggest, though, that if you're a guy who's had that kind of wish for a long time, and you haven't been able to do it, that 30 minutes, maybe you say, oh, that shouldn't be too much. I mean, I've got 24 hours in the day, and this is super important. 30 minutes is such a small amount of time. I spend more time than that sitting on the toilet and watching YouTube videos. I should be able to do this, but the reality is that you might need to set that goal, at least at first, smaller. It's much better to say, you know what, I haven't been doing anything. I'm going to do this for 5 minutes a day and begin to actually succeed in that. And then, okay, can I increase that? That's a much better way to go than to 30 minutes a day, you continue to fail, and then you're like, whatever, moving on. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. But 30 minutes, if you can't do it, then go, well, don't throw the goal out. Maybe it's just a matter of reducing that kind of, the bar that you've set for yourself, at least for a time. God is so patient with us. We should be patient with ourselves in that sense. Like if God is willing to be patient with us and allow us to grow slowly, we can do that too at times. Okay, you guys.
All right, so the goal is JC for summer 2020, and that's specific, measurable, and achievable. So I'll do all of that. I'll fill out an application.
Okay.
Maybe we'll look over that. Hopefully he'll want to...
It may not be achievable.
Hopefully, if that happens, he'll want to have an interview with me, and then...
Oh, I will.
And then if that happens, I'll be wanting to save $400+ for all of that.
Yep. Okay, good. Very good. Yeah. I like this. I like it. Well, that is certainly a relevant goal. And yeah, I like how you're doing some things that we oftentimes miss. You're making it time-bound. You're being specific. This is a good exercise because I hope you go home and if you're the kind of guy who writes everything down in Excel spreadsheets, Josh, then you can do it that way. Or if it's just you're thinking through your goals, if that's your kind of person, this will be better for you as you're setting goals. Yes, Dwayne.
I think Jesus had a teaching about considering the cost for committing yourself to Jesus.
Yeah.
A lot of these goals that we set have cost attached to them, either time or finance. We need to really think about what that's going to cost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we wanted to, we could either put another letter in here, or we could just say that's part of the attainable, or the relevant, maybe. So yeah, but you do need to account the cost. Every decision has a cost attached to it. Okay, did you guys? Okay, your turn.
I had a specific goal this year to make $100 in passive income, which is defined as not hourly, so not hourly income online. So basically, it equals out to $1,200 this year, not hourly. Okay, that's it. So it was measurable because each month I wanted to make $100, and attainable because it's $100 a month. We can't do that. That was relevant because I just basically went to garage sales for fun and ended up finding things that were worth a lot on eBay. And I was like, hey, it's like $1. Why don't I just take it, get a picture of it, post it online? And it was happening this year.
No problem.
I finished and I did it. I haven't posted anything even in 3 months. I made $200. All I had to do was ship out the products. It was like really fun.
That's cool.
And my brother shipped them.
Yeah, he delegated. Did you work for free? Like a little...
I mean, I usually do work for free anyways, but I have a lot, so I'm just like, I'll make them bring back my
Cool. Okay, what about you guys?
Our goal was, my goal was to become a level 3 HVAC tech. And it's definitely achievable. And I have, it's measurable. I have a set of classes that I can take.
So you'll know as you can measure when you passed each class? Yep. Okay.
It's achievable because it's easy to do. Not easy, but it's definitely doable. It's relevant because it will be part of the field of work that I want to be in. And time bound will be about a year and a half.
And you base that on looking at the classes, when you're going to be able to take them, and when you should be completed. Okay, good. Very good. Did you guys go already? Okay, so we done? Oh, awesome. Okay, so when I was your age, when I was 14, 15, I heard this presentation from a guy named Joe, who we're now on the camp board together. And I don't remember a lot of the details of, I remember 2 presentations from all my times at the Leadership Advance when I was your age. I remember his goal presentation for some reason, which did not seem relevant to me at the time, so I don't know why I remember it. And I remember one of our speakers who, at the time, had just come back from the first Desert Storm. And I remember he was in a tank, and I remember him talking about the depleted uranium, I think it was, rounds that would shoot out of their tanks and destroy Iraqi tanks. And I thought that was really cool. Those are the 2 things I remember. That's it. Goal setting and the tank guy. But I remembered this goal setting thing, and it didn't make any sense to me. It didn't seem relevant at all to me when I was 15. Now it is, and so that's why I wanted to share it with you guys. Hopefully you can take some of this home and employ it to some degree, so that when it's time, when it's the season to be efficient, to set good goals, not necessarily when you're sitting down on a date, but hopefully when it's time you can be more successful in achieving the goals that you believe will honor God. So